Five prayers a day arose among the Muslims. You hearing this? Where they got the 5 prayers per day? Okay, so it's not only influencing Christianity, it's influencing this Muslim world, right? This peacock, this energy, this pahanok, this phoenix, right? Straight out of Egypt. A rather less engaging popular story is told in Al-Qisais Qisas, circa 1100. The peacock is seduced by the promise of Satan that if he would help the latter enter paradise, he would teach him 3 words that would save him from illness, old age, and death. You see, so Satan is promising and tempting the peacock, it says here, right, according to the story. So the peacock enlists the aid of the serpent and helps Satan enter paradise. So the peacock all of a sudden needs the help of the serpent, right? First we were talking about him destroying the serpent. Now he's actually looking for the serpent for knowledge, right? For wisdom, for help how to get Satan in, right? Well, he later seduces Eve, it says, after he let him in. The peacock, which until then had been the beautiful bird of paradise with the most beautiful voice, is cast out of heaven along with the serpent and Satan and loses his voice. So it's like separating the serpent and Satan here, right? You see this? Alright, so let's continue. So as according to Charles Godfrey Leland, it says, to paradise, the Arabs say, Satan could never find a way until the peacock let him in. Again, Charles Godfrey Leland. So readers familiar with the Genesis account, it says here, of the expulsion from Eden will be fascinated by the contrast of details in this Islamic version. Iblis, remember Iblis, right? Satan for the Muslims. Very similar and sounds very much so like Iblis, Thoth, right? The Egyptian god, the Iblis. It says here, dwells beyond the gates of paradise. Through cunning and deceit, he plays upon the vanity of the peacock and serpent and gains entrance. Again, Satan uses the peacock and the serpent. He's not the serpent. It's separated here. And gains entrance, eluding the angel who guards the gate with his flaming sword. Promising her youth and health, Iblis tricks Eve into eating the fruit of the weed tree. Once she and Adam have eaten, God's wrath drives them from paradise, condemning Eve to painful childbirth, the peacock to loss of his melodious voice, the serpent to loss of her legs, and forcing Iblis to be cast back into the torments of all eternity. But expelled through the gates of repentance and grace, the human pair are reminded these gates are also entrances back into paradise. So you see how the peacock has a very strong story here in correlation to what we're studying, as you know, something to do with Satan. You know, he messed up, he let Satan in, he helped Iblis get in, whoever this Iblis is, because it's not serpent yet, as we have been taught, because right here they're separated, right? So let's continue. So just like the story of that we know about Lucifer or Satan not wanting to bow down to God's new creation, the human Adam, right? Because he thought he was better than him, he was more powerful, he was more beautiful, he was more divine, right? He said he was created out of fire. So in the last part that we just read, Iblis was cast out because he tried to sneak in. He tricked the peacock and the serpent, right? So here, Satan grew very jealous of Adam, causing Michael to order Satan to bow down. But Satan refused. Satan refused to pay homage before a creature made out of dust, and a mammal at that. The Quran noted Iblis' refusal to bow to Adam in several of its scriptures. Again, right there. Noting that Satan, a being of fire, would not worship a mortal made of clay. Satan was then banished from heaven, but was provided respite from the fires of hell by God until Judgment Day, so that he could lead as many humans astray as possible. Did you hear that? Okay, so look what it's saying. It's saying that he didn't just completely get rid of him, right? God didn't completely get rid of Iblis or Satan, or Iblis, the Iblis, Thoth, this falling angel. He didn't get exactly rid of him, because he allowed him, right? Like we said, who gives wisdom to the Iblis job so that he can lead as many humans astray as possible, right? And look what's going on. Look how many humans he has led away already. I mean, we're just putting all this together. Look what's going on. Let's wake up. So Iblis was noted as one of the disobedient ones. Okay, Iblis, the Ibis, Thoth. Indeed, suggestion others followed Iblis out of heaven to plot their poorly planned revenge against the descendants of Adam. So Iblis took with him some of the other angels, right? Some of the other disobedient ones. It says here, according to the Quran, God created the first Satan, Iblis, a king to a jinn, out of fire. The primary characteristic of the devil, besides hubris, so fire can mean light, right? Out of light. And besides hubris, right? We're going to read about what hubris means. Is that he has no power other than the power to cast evil suggestions into the hearts of men and women. The Quran says that Satan was among the angels whom God ordered to bow down to Adam after his creation. It says in 1850, and mention when we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, and they prostrated, except for Iblis. He was of the jinn and departed from the command of his Lord. Then will you take him and his descendants as allies other than me, while they are enemies to you? Wretched it is for the wrongdoers as an exchange, says there. Continuing, it was after Satan's disobedience of God that the title of Shaitan was given to him. Alright, so after he disobeyed was when he was called Shaitan or Satan, which can be roughly translated as enemy, rebel, evil, or devil. Shaitan then claims that if the punishment for his act of disobedience is to be delayed until the day of judgment, then he will divert many of Adam's own descendants from the straight path during his, block right there, but rest of his respite. God accepts the claims of Iblis, right, Ibis or Thoth, Ibis, and guarantees recompense to Iblis and his followers in the form of hellfire in order to test mankind and jinn alike. So God allowed these fallen angels to bring you into disorder. Allah allowed Iblis, as I just said, to roam the earth to attempt to convert others away from his path. And he's been doing a good job. He was sent to earth along with Adam and Eve, eventually luring them into eating the fruit from the forbidden tree. The devil in Islamic theology, says here. According to the Oxford Dictionary of Islam, Shaitan, in the singular and plural shayateen, are used in the Quran often interchangeably with Iblis, okay, Iblis, who is considered to be a particular shaitan, He's a type of shaitan, he's not the shaitan, okay, Iblis, Thoth. In Islamic theology, Iblis is a being created from the fire who was allowed to mingle with angels in the heavens until he rejected the command of God to bow before Adam. So he was invited to heaven. He was allowed to mingle with the angels. He wasn't an angel. He was made out of fire. It was different. Alright? When God created Adam, the first human, he said to the angels, and mention, O Muhammad, says there, when your Lord said to the angels, indeed, I will make upon the earth a successive authority. They said, will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood, while we declare your praise and sanctify you? Allah said, indeed, I know that which you do not know. All the angels prostrate, but Iblis does not. Iblis justified his decision, so saying Iblis did not bow down. And says he justified his decision because he claims to be better than a human. Allah said, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? Satan said, or Iblis, I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. Iblis requests a reprieve until the day of resurrection to try to mislead the people in any way he can. God reprieves Iblis, but he also warns that Iblis would have no authority over his ibad or servants. So it says he's not even going to have, he can try, but he will never be able to have no authority over his descendants, right? The Hebrews. As for my servant, no authority shall thou have over them, his servants, right? The Most High servants. Who is the Most High servants? It says here, consequently, God expelled Satan from heaven, with the latter promising to lure mankind into